Hey, what's up? It's Sanan Sanani, and I've just got this new August 2023 overview for Tbilisi residential real estate by Galton Taggart. Once again, shout out to Galton Taggart. They're giving out amazing market reports. Be sure to check them out. I'll drop the link at the description, and you guys can check this out time to time. But what I'll do today is I'll quickly go through this with you and skim through the details. I haven't had a look at it myself, so we could go read it together, and I'll give you my thoughts as I'm reading. So I gave another one of these out a while back, and you guys loved it. So here I go again. So in August 2023, the number of apartments sold in Tbilisi reached 3,552 units, down by 9.3% compared to last year, and 2.8% compared to the month of August last year. And the primary market had much smaller reduction in sales compared to the secondary one, not by a lot, by minus 1.7 compared to last year, and 14.6% in the secondary market compared to last year. So the primary market, we call those developer projects, the ones that are an off plan, they're being built, they're still being sold. There's still quite of an interest for investors. But anyway, this could indicate a decrease in the appeal of the rental market. That's true. Prices are getting high as demand has declined from migrants, which was one of the primary factors contributing to the sharp increase in rents last year. Yeah, rents have dropped. And we'll go into the nitty gritty and the details in a bit, but rents have dropped. Uh, Things that were gone for 1,000 are back at 600, 700. Things that were going for $2,000 are back at $1,500. You have a few people trying to rent as high, but you're sacrificing your apartment being empty in hopes that one guy will come and pay the top dollar for it. But there's so much supply and choices for tenants. So you see a lot of tenants breaking contracts from these expensive prices they had last year and jumping into cheaper ones. And when I say cheap, it doesn't mean the property or the quality of the apartment is cheap. It means just the owner is renting their apartment cheaper, probably just to not keep it empty and probably just to cover the mortgage payments. In August 23, sales decreased almost in every district of Tbilisi. The only increase was recorded in Didi Romi, 17% compared from last year, and Nadzala Devi, 26.6% increase compared to last year. So I guess these were the two districts that weren't getting a lot of attention last year. So lots of investors jumped to that area and picked them up. Um, and I am assuming these two districts are also going to get quite expensive in the years to come. But right now, these are the places where you could get prices close to, I guess, COVID times. But still, uh, prices have increased after COVID times. I mean, I made a video in COVID telling you guys this is the best time to buy now. This is panic. Buy anything, buy anything, buy everything, and it will go up. And it did. Whereas now you need to kind of snipe for good deals. Back then was more like the flamethrower analogy, buy everything. Let's continue. Other notable features of the market remain consistent, including the prevalence of medium-sized apartments, 51 to 80 meters, and rising share of mid-scale, upscale segments due to increased prices. Guys, 51 to 80 meters are like candy here. I always say if you go to the city center and try to sell 20 lollipops, 20 studios or 21 bedrooms would get sold faster than those lollipops. These studios or one bedrooms or even two bedrooms at this size, 51 to 80 meters, they get rented super fast in days, if not, I mean, in weeks, if not days, and they get sold pretty fast. Okay. If in less than 2 months, if not weeks. So they're in high demand. I mean, of course, they'd have to be priced to sell, but they're in high demand, and it's almost impossible to just have it uh, on your watch list and not see it go. All right. I'd also argue and say that below this square meters, at 30 to 50 square meters, are also very high in demand. Prices on the primary market remained elevated, supported also by the availability of flexible payment options from developers. Yeah, they're offering like 0% interest plans and whatnot. Meanwhile, prices reduced slightly month over month, still registering growth year over year on the secondary market, as demand moderated due to reduced attractiveness of the rental market. I mean, yeah, prices have dropped. I mean, the rentals have dropped, but the prices, asking prices to buy the property, have remained the same. So this has put a lot of investors off. I still do see some creative investors pulling things off, like buying black frame apartments, splitting them into smaller units, or completely demolishing an old apartment or old house and renovating it completely. I mean, here are those are deals you could get some forced appreciation on, and they are deals you could buy at a better price because they're black frame. It's not generating any income for the owner. The weighted average prices have displayed substantial growth since the start of 2022, with the following changes by project types. So yeah, primary projects continue to increase. It's 40%. Primary, again, developer projects since January 2022. And secondary new projects, 23%. Secondary old projects, 15.3%. So yeah, in overall, there is growth. All right, people are buying. There is demand. In August 2023, total market size of apartments sold in Tbilisi stood at $257 million, up by 9.7% year on year, so compared to August last year, mainly due to a significant increase in a primary market size. 28.5% year on year, resulted by strong price growth. Yes, I want to take us back to Corona time, where most of the developer projects stopped building. They were either paused or, they had to for Corona procedures and laws and regulations to get enforced. So that time was when developers were not building. They were kind of just waiting it out to see what's going to happen with the world economy. However, now there's a whole developer boom. Developers are building in every area except Tachminda, because that's already a built area. But talking about developers or black frame projects or anything, investing in real estate is almost the safest thing you could possibly do. When Corona happened, not a huge lot happened to the prices in real estate as opposed to stock markets, partially because you're investing in land, and then you're also investing in the materials used to build the land and the labor used to build the land. And if anything, the materials stayed the same or got more expensive. So you don't see a huge drop when you're investing in cement, bricks, armature, metal, and these are the foundations used to build real estate. So I pretty much still say real estate is the safest investment, and it doesn't really drop 50%. It could possibly spike 50% upwards, but dropping 50% down is just not heard of. The craziest thing happened in the world. Corona happened, and look what happened. The prices didn't drop 50%. It went down by 10%, 15%, occasionally less if they were very distressed and very motivated to sell. So construction permits, the area of issued construction permits increased by 48.7% compared to last year. The eighth month of 2023, we're talking about August here when we say year over year, comparing August 2023 to August 2022, continuation of an upward trend observed since 2020. Notably, number of issued instruction permits had a slower growth rate, 20% year on year. This indicates a shift towards larger scale projects in the pipeline. Many developers are now favoring a larger residential construction endeavors, including multiple blocks or in certain instances, entire complexes. So that's what the developers are going after. They're going for the multifamily, they're going for the multiple block projects. Okay, residential sales. So you guys already know what this is. I'll say it again. Primary sales are real estate sold by construction companies, developers. Secondary sales in new projects are sold by an individual owner in projects built by construction permits issued after 2013. And old projects are before 2013. Looking at the monthly number of sold apartments, we could see that real estate sales are down 9.3% compared to August last year, and 2.8% month over month. Real estate sales by size. You see the median 51 to 8 square meters. This is the one that's been highly in demand for the past 3 years. We have seen a slight increase in the larger apartments, 81 to 150 square meters, and a drop in the very large apartments. As regards to the small apartments, 26 to 50 meters, 3 years ago they were getting picked up more. Now they have increased compared to last year as well, not by a lot, but by a little bit. What's interesting to me is that the demand in the 51 to 80 square meters remain an unstaggering amount relative to the other square meters. It seems like this is the easiest place to hold properties and also sell them later on down the line. Budget apartments have dropped mainly because there's barely anything left for $500 to $800. And there's been an increase in the mid-scale apartments. So people are trying to buy or continue to buy within this range of $800 to $1,200. And there's been an increase in the upper to upscale apartments. So people are also starting to buy more compared to last year and 2021 in the upper scale, $1,800 to $3,000 apartments. Also upper to upscale, but I was talking about upscale here, 1,200 to 1,800. This is my range, by the way. This is the range I like to buy. I've been only buying within this range. Of course, once in a while I catch something around $600 to $800 per square meter, black frame, but majority of the time I am buying here and my finishing costs are always within this range. So we've seen an increase by 5% compared to last year, roughly 5%. And also we've seen an increase in the upper to upscale apartments by 4%. Moving on. Figure 5, the real estate market size in millions of dollars. In August 2023, total value of apartments sold in Tbilisi stood at $257 million, up by 9.7%, mainly due to a significant increase in primary market size. Yeah, that's what's really driving the sales in Tbilisi right now, developer projects. And again, it's mainly due to the attractive payment plans they offer, 0% and whatnot. I still haven't seen developers go ahead and offer this whole, pay a portion of your apartment now and pay it as you move in once the building is complete. This is something we've seen in Dubai during the times where the demand for buying off-plan properties dropped. So I don't see that happening anytime soon, but I'd be very interested to pick some off-plan projects up once they do start offering deals like that. Post handover plan, they call it. So you move inside and pay the installments for years to come after, and that's pretty strategic because your tenant could pay that off. But yeah, not we've seen, yeah, you see, we've seen an increase of developer projects being sold. The highest was in June. Figure 6, number of sold apartments by districts. In August 2023, annual sales decreased almost in all districts of Tbilisi. The only increase in sales was recorded in Didi Romi and Nadzalev. I have to. Nadzaladevi. I'm not Georgian, by the way, so uh, apologize if I can't. I apologize if I can't pronounce them correctly. That's why I try to read it slowly. So yeah, you see, Didi Romi is where's Nadzaladevi? Didi Romi and Nadzaladevi is the only districts where you've seen an increase. Uh, this is this is 2023 in August. This is 2022, and this is 2021. And looks like this is the area everybody's buying now. It's an area where lots of medical students are and lots of universities are. So lots of people are buying to keep up with the rental demand over there. And I could pretty much say, compared to the purchase price, the rents are pretty high there. And that's because of the students. They're the driving force. So it's been an 18% increase in Didi Romi and a 27% increase in Nadzaladevi. I said it right now. And everywhere else has been dropped. Didube, not that much. It's quite stable. That's Minda also. It's quite stable. Chugureti, Vake. Vake has a sharp drop, you see, compared to last year. Where else could we see? Isani, this is a place I've been investing in, just the good areas, close to the river. Sabortalo, not a big drop compared to last year, but there has been a little bit of decrease in sales here. And okay, moving on. Real estate sales by districts, value, number, and area. The 8th month of 2023. Saportalo remained the most attractive residential district with 4,738 apartments sold with a total value of $416 million, which is 21% of the total sales in Tbilisi. That's a lot. Saportalo has remained the most attractive. Saportalo is quite of a big district. There's Upper Saportalo, Lower Saportalo, and it's been a developers' favorite spot to build in the last decade because of the laws. You could build higher there, and because of the land. There was a huge availability of land when I first came here in 2018. There's not so many plots left there. So I would potentially expect Sabortalo to stabilize and probably reach around the number of apartments sold in Vake within maybe 5 years. I would bet it would take around 5 years. Moving forward, I'm only picking things I like here, but as I'm speaking, you guys could just go ahead and go through where you care about, I guess. I've invested in Chugureti, for those who want to know, Vake. I've invested in Ditube, I've invested in Isani, and Sabortalo. So, real estate weighted average prices by type. We're talking dollars per square meter. Primary market prices keep increasing while secondary market is going through a correction phase. The reasons are: one, more flexible payment schemes are offered by developers. Yes, we've discussed that. And second, moderated demand on rental market. Notably, since the beginning of 2022, weighted average price on a primary market is up by 40% to $1,200 per square meter. So that's how much developers are selling roughly. If you're getting anything below that, I would potentially say that's a good deal. But keep in mind, developers don't always finish on time, and be very careful which developer you decide to work with. There's private developers. If you're working with private developers, first time builders, second, third time builders, be sure to get a better deal if you're going to be investing in them. If you're investing in the top developers, nothing could go wrong. I've seen them finish so many buildings, mostly on time and up to the standards they have promised. And they give you the finished title deed much faster. Private developers usually, not usually, but potentially could face some problems with getting the title deed clean, and it could take a year or two. But nonetheless, almost all the ones that I have known, they all finish and get the title deeds clean. By clean, I mean to change the status from under construction to finished apartment. So, real estate prices on primary market for white frame apartments by districts. In August 2023, every district of Tbilisi had a double-digit annual price growth in white frame projects offered by developers. Gildani and Nadzala Devi posted the highest monthly increase in prices, 4.9% in Gildani and 2.7% in Nadzala Devi month on month, comparing August of this month to August of last year. So, yeah, Vake has seen a huge increase. It used to be sold for 1,550 3 years ago. Now it's being sold for 2,090. Let me just calculate and give you exactly how many percent increase we're talking about. Roughly 26%. It's increased roughly by 30%, the prices, the asking prices of developers. In Vake, Sabertalo used to be selling for $950 the white frame apartments while they're being built. Now they're asking $1,400. I'm not investing here. No, here. $700 was the asking price in Diduben. Now it's reached above 1,000. The only things below 1,000 is Didi Romi, Gildani, Samgori, and Vashlisvari, but all these four also have had an increase in asking prices from developers compared to the last 2 years. Isani was a great spot last year. We picked up 3 apartments here at this price per square meter, and unfortunately now when I'm trying to look for more, they are 1,000 plus. Moving on. So yeah, Tatsminda has no off-plan projects. It's completely built, and I think the government or the city hall allows old buildings to be renovated from the inside, or you could get an extra floor and turn them into like hotel projects, 12 rooms, 20 rooms, 40 rooms, but no big G+10 buildings that offer 100 apartments or so for sale. This part is done, and eventually one day we would probably see the same with Vake, and 5-10 years later possibly we would see Sabortolo have no more off-plan sales. But in the secondary markets, in the new projects, Tatsminda is selling roughly $2,300 per square meter. In the old projects, 1,400. I have seen some demand here. People are picking these up in the secondary and third streets of prime locations in Tatsminda, and they're making them into very nice Airbnbs. And old projects in Vake, the same. I have seen people pick them up. There's probably no elevator. It's probably a 4-floor building. You'd have to probably walk 3 floors up to get a price like this. The ground floor and first floor are still quite high. Even in the old projects, they're being sold as if they're new projects. In Sabortalo, the primary market is selling roughly $1,400 per square meter. Even in the finished new projects, they're being sold for the same. I would potentially, if I was supposed to invest in Sabortalo, no offense to any developer out there, I respect them all and know them personally, I would probably just go for a new project and a built one, a ready one, and just immediately receive rent. Whereas buying it for the same price and waiting for 18 months or 24 months to complete, I mean, you're missing 24 months of rent, which who would want to miss that? So old projects in Sabertalo, you have to be careful. You need to know which one you're investing in and what's the history of that building, and do people like to live there. But generally, old projects in Sabertalo do fine as well. There's a demand there for rent. I'm not so experienced in this area. This is an area for known to be favored by embassies and diplomats and such. I have not got my hands down there. Chugureti, also there's no buildings in Chugureti. They're all low floors. It's very hard to get a license or permit to build there. You'd be lucky if you do. A friend of mine has been waiting for his license for 2 years. They really want to keep that old cultural heritage look, and they really don't want you to build higher than 3 floors. Potentially, you can get the attic, so that's the 4th floor, or you could get 4 floors, and then the attic would be the 5th, but not higher than that. There's a lot of rules in Chugureti. That's why you don't see any stats here. However, there are very few buildings being built here. Not, I would say, a block, maybe 1 or 2 projects. But the new projects and old projects are roughly the same, being sold for $1,000 roughly per meter in Chugureti. I think Chugureti, the prices are going to go high. We have lots of coffee shops and restaurants and co-working spaces there, parks, and it's a beautiful place. It's strategically located. It's in the opposite side of the river, with just a traffic light or 2 and a bridge. You're already in Tatsminda, Vake, Sabortalo, and this has been a spot favored by investors who like fix and flips, and which is buying and renting and renovating and adding value and selling. Nadzala Devi, this has caught my eye during this report. I'm going to research more about it. However, I don't have much knowledge here to give an opinion. So in Isani, we've spoken about that. The primary market selling now above $1,000. If you could get a new project below $1,000, okay, this would be a good deal. And average is still, well, a little bit below 1,000. It's gonna break. It's gonna go above 1,000 soon. All right, Gildani, I'm not familiar, partially because a lot of Georgians live there, but not expats, and I rent to expats. because I'm doing high end designer Airbnb looking apartments. Samgori, can't give an opinion on that, and Didube, which is also another place I invest in. This is near the Dinamo Stadium. There's not so many new buildings here. They're mostly old, but prices are still relatively attractive. Okay. And a good fix and flip here, or a BRRRR, a buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat, could be done well in this district. And moving forward, let's look at the residential rents. Real estate rents slightly reversed and increased by 3.4% month over month compared to July of last year, but remained mostly stagnant since April 2023. So if we look at the year over year, year on year growth, February 2023, we had a 116% increase. And March 96, and as you see, it's slowly dropping. And now, compared to last year, it's only been 45. So the market kind of retracted. You see, there's like a huge drop. It's going downwards. However, it picked up comparing from the months before. In March, again, there was, in the beginning of the year, again, there was a slight increase. And now, July, there was also a slight increase in rent. But 3% is not a lot. Okay. We're talking like if you were receiving $1,000, potentially now 1,050, 1,080, 1,100. Real estate rental yields and deposit rates in July 2023. Real estate rental yields in Tbilisi was higher than gel deposit rates. That's true. I'm also not a fan of deposits in the bank. They lend. If you put your money in the bank, they lend it to people like me, investors. All right. Not sure if you know about fractional reserve, but every 1,000 lari you put in the bank, the bank times that by 10 and lends that out to people like me and other businessmen, investors. 1 second, my charge. I'm on 10%, and I don't wanna turn off on you guys. Let's see. Let's get the charge. All right, thank you for being patient. So the rental yield in the city center by cities, this is possibly my favorite figure in this report. Figure 11. Tbilisi still remains the highest ROI. All right, the return on investment in Tbilisi beats Tashkent by 0.1. Tashkent is also an up-and-coming area in Uzbekistan. Astana 8.8, Ankara 7.8% return on investment, Yerevan 7.7, Chisingu, I have not heard of this place yet. I don't know where that. Chisinau 5.9, Baku 5.7, Bucharest 4.3. That's boring. Riga 4.1, boring. Vilnius 3.9, Sofia, Tallinn, all of these boring. You don't want to invest somewhere and get your money back in 40 years, all right, 30 years. Besides 5% return, you might as well go to Dubai, buy a Zone D block which is still a beautiful building compared to buildings in these cities, and you can get a 5% return. So if you're looking for 5%, I would always say invest in a first world country and just go for a Zone D, Zone E location, which still has quite a high demand, and just rent it and get 5% return. However, if you're looking for that jump, if you want your money back in 5 years, 10 years, less than 15 years, then you need to go for places like Tbilisi and Tashkent. I have yet to visit Tashkent. I've heard a lot of great things about it. 5 years ago, I was in a forum in Biltmore in Tbilisi, and it was a whole forum about Uzbekistan. However, the prices are quite similar. Tashkent and Tbilisi, I have checked the prices there, the asking prices per square meter. And hey, I've built my team here. I know everything now about the city here. I have my inner circle, I have my service circle, I have my support circle. So it doesn't really make sense for me to travel to Tashkent and build this all over again. Even if it was more attractive, even if Tashkent was giving 12% return, I'm not uh, ready to invest and have my head divided into two places. You know, the saying, um, the person who tries to catch two rabbits ends up catching none. So pick your rabbit. That's what I would say. Regarding market fundamentals, we've seen a decline in lari, meaning lari got weaker against the dollar. And yeah, the best lari did was it was 2.48 against the dollar. I think, yeah, 2.48, and now it's 2.68. All right, we're talking in October now. This is the August report. 2.68. And the inflation stayed below target at 0.9% in August 2023. All right, look, I'm going to post this down in the link below, so I'm not going to get into the remaining of this. Just I want to tell you about the mortgage interest rates, the lower refinancing rate mortgage. The lower refinancing rate pushed mortgage rates slightly down. FX 7%. Yeah, I mean, I don't get lari loans, all right, because the interest is so high, you're kind of working for the bank. Yeah, it makes sense for Georgians to get lari loans. And it also makes sense to gamble that you might know that the lari is headed in one direction, so you could get it and then close it by refinancing into a dollar loan, and you make that profit. But I'm not a gambler. I don't like making bets like that, and I take only euro loans, occasionally dollar. Euro is 1% less than dollar, so if you're being offered, like, I don't know, 8% interest rate in dollar, you're likely to get offered 7% in euro. I'm a European, so I feel more comfortable borrowing euros and working with euros. But it's yeah, gel loans don't cash flow also, so it doesn't really make sense to get a gel loan. And majority of the payments to the bank, it's the interest you're paying, not the principal. So that's not really attractive for me. Besides, I love this country for giving the dollar euro loans. All right, in like Turkey, they don't give you dollar euro loans; they give you lira loans, which has the same problem with the lari loans I've mentioned. You're paying more to the bank, and there's barely any cash flow, if any cash flow, actually. All right, construction. I'm not a big fan of off-plan properties. If they're like 5 months away till completion, yeah, sure, I might grab one, but I wouldn't go there just to grab a property. I would probably grab a couple, half a floor or full floor, by myself or with friends or with investors, and otherwise, it's not worth it for me. Uh, I like to get income as fast as possible. However, for people who are the first type of real estate investor, which is the one that makes their money somewhere else and puts it in properties, as opposed what I am, the second type of investor, the one who makes their money from properties. If you're a salaried employee, yeah, off-plan projects are lucrative for you. You could put a portion of your salary away. in an installment plan so that you could own a property outright when it's complete. And that's kind of like saving, because once it's complete, you be sure that you have one. The prices are like 10, 20, 30% higher than your buying price. But it depends, if you came when it was on the it was ground up, or when they're digging, you get a better price than when they're almost finished. However, I like to just buy the projects that are complete, or projects that have like 4 or 5 months left in them, or the elevator had started to work and you have permission to buy and immediately start your renovation while they're finishing the construction. So in those cases, I do invest in developing projects, or these primary markets. Well, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please hit the like button, subscribe button to show YouTube algorithm that you like these videos, and they will keep pushing this out to people like you, investors like you. I hope you have a good, wonderful day. Happy investing, happy hunting. If you have any questions, drop it down in the comments below. And if you're visiting Tbilisi, I'd be glad to meet you guys over some coffee. We could discuss real estate deals, real estate game, insights, trends, and more. Till next time.